Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 on how to create a basic flyer. So we've got our text, we've got our image, we know how to do that. Let's keep going. Alright, so to create another text box, instead of just hitting the type tool and then selecting, let's do it my personal favorite way, where you're on the selection tool, you've clicked off, right? You click on once, hold the option key, click and drag, let go, there you go. Now you got a duplicate. Now we can add in different kind of text. Let's make it a little lighter. There we go. And then we can decrease the size of it right here. Oh, we left off a little bit. Another way to make sure you're selecting all of it is you can always hit Command A. That'll select everything. And then we can just kind of select what size. Let's make it about 12, right? I don't know. Something like that. There we go. Now, these giant text boxes kind of get annoying, so I like to trim them. You can either click and drag in here to kind of, change the size of it, or you can do my personal favorite way. I think a lot of people don't know this one. Just hit Command, Option, and C, and what that does is it trims the box for you to the size of the text. So we'll do the same for this one. Command, Option, C. There we go. Sometimes it's a little finicky. Sometimes if there's another line underneath it, it won't trim the side of it here. So what you'll have to do is just bring that guy in. There you go. All right. Let's see what comes next. All right, next we got to create this little shape back here. The way we do that, we'll create our little shape tool, rectangle tool over here. Hotkey for that is going to be M. So there we go. Or you can select it over here on your toolbar. Just click and drag to the kind of size you want. I'm thinking about like that. That's looking good. Now, if yours is like mine, it defaults to no fill, no stroke. Yours might be a little different. So what we want to do with our fill selected, let's make it black. There we go. And no stroke to that. So now what we want to do is we'll go back to our selection tool. Now we got to create that angle. If you'll notice on this one, there's a little bit of angle to it, right? So to get that angle, there's two ways to do it. I'm just going to show you this way. I like it this way because it's not deconstructive. And so what I mean by deconstructive is that it's a lot harder to go backwards. So I think the best way, especially for this instance, is you'll want to select your rectangle tool, kind of come up here to this little angle guy, right? The shear X angle. My magic number is 13. You can put it on whatever you'd like, whatever you think looks best, go for it. And then we'll just want to resize it a little bit. Now, also the great thing about this, and I won't show you, but if you had done it another way, let's say you grab this and you started moving it around, make it bigger, wider, whatever, your angle would have changed. However, the way we did this, we can make this as tall as we want, short as we want, whatever, and it'll keep the same angle over here, right? And I think that is fantastic. All right. Now, if you'll notice also, we have this kind of on a transparency here. So we'll want to add a little transparency. So we'll select this guy, right? There's two places. I've got it over here in this effects menu, and the way you get that menu is if you go to Window, you will go right here to Effects, add that open. Looks like this box right here. And you'll want to change that to Multiply. These are different kind of blending modes. I'd suggest playing around with them, see what they do. It takes a while to get used to and knowing what they're going to do, but they work differently with the color that you select on top of photos or other colors. But for this instance, we want to use Multiply. You probably won't notice really any difference, but when it goes to print, it tends to print a little nicer. So we'll just do Multiply, bring this guy down, and we'll just bring it down to about, I don't know, maybe 75 or something like that. Okay, looking good. And again, you'll want to add in like your time, so what we'll do is, and I'll just kind of speed through this, so we'll just kind of, there we go. Now, in this instance, I clicked and dragged, right? Now, if I was to click off and click back on, now I'm selecting this guy, okay? Now, this is very important. This is where layers comes in. Everything's got to be on top of something or underneath something. Everything can't be just in the same. That's just not how things work. So, to get to this, we want to move this rectangle behind this text so that way we can get to it, right? So the way we do that, and I'm only going to teach you the shortcut, the short key for it, is Command left bracket, takes you backwards. Just keep pushing it till you see it go backwards. If you go back too far, you'll notice it goes behind the photo. Command right bracket will bring it back, and you can bring it back on top. Just keep going until you get right where you need it, right? So there we go. Everybody looking good. That's where we want it. Now we can select this text easily. Let's select that and get our times right. Now, it can get a little tiresome going up here every time and then, messing with the size of the type and all that jazz. So the way I like to do it, because I like to eyeball things sometimes, and I'm just undoing here. I like to grab this little corner, hit Command Shift, and then drag. What that'll do, anytime I can kind of eyeball it and get pretty close. There we go, we're looking good. And then I'm just gonna cheat this real quick for the sake of keeping everything quick. There we go, looking good. All right, now we've got those, and what I did is I just created another line, and then I changed the sizing, and I changed the weight, which is up here, and there you go, duplicated, all that stuff that we just learned. So next, what you want to do is you want to create that little divider line that you see right here. The way to do that, it's going to be the line tool. It's going to be this guy up here, and that is the backward slash or forward slash. I don't know, backward, forward. Anyways, what you want to do is you want to click and drag down. Hold Shift while you do it. That way, it's a perfectly straight line. There it is. Mine still comes up with no fill or stroke, so you'll want to change that. There we go. That's looking good. Maybe even bring it down. You can change the weight size, which is right here. I'm going to change it maybe a little lighter. Let's do a little more. How about 0.5? There we go. All right, looking great. All right, let's see what we got next. Next we got, and we just kind of talked about this, how to create a bar like this. So as we did before, we'll use the M hotkey, which is your rectangle. We'll just click and drag, kind of make it about like that. There we go. Add a little color to it. Let's see here. We'll just use this. Maybe make it a little wider. I'm going to grab this text over here, and I'm going to hold Option, click and drag. So we're duplicating it. Now, when you duplicate something, it'll just put it one layer above the layer that you duplicated it from. So in this case, this text is now behind this blue box. So again, to move forward, just hit Command right bracket and just keep hitting it until it pops up until you can see it. So there we go. We're going to stretch this box out a little bit, make it a little bigger. Now let's type. Please see back of flyer to see location of study group or something like that. There we go. Looking good. Let's make it a little more readable. It's kind of hard to see white on that bright blue, so we'll do maybe a regular weight. That's looking better. I'm using my down arrow right now to kind of move it. There we go. Looking good. Now we want to center this. So let's say, hey, we got a text box here. We got a line like that. I could eyeball it, but let's not do that. So the way I like to get it in the center, if you want it centered, get your text box on both sides here. Make sure it touches both edges. Double click into it, select all your text. You want to go up here to the center. There you go, just like that. Make sure you click off. There you go, looking good. All right, last but not least, we'll create this. So I'm Option, dragging down, right? Double click in. We're gonna go for black. There it is. Now I don't exactly know what you want it to say. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create placement text. You might not ever need to know placement text, but if you want to, it's in type, fill with placeholder text. Boom, there it is. Now, that's a little, got to stick to your margins, right? So what we want to do, and to pull up this preview, make sure you press W when you've got nothing selected. click on this text box. I'm gonna hold Option. If you hold Option and pull in, it's gonna pull in both sides at the same time, keeping it nice and even like that. Let's pull it in a little more, maybe like that. And it's a little too much text. All right, that's looking good. Let's give it a little more breathing room, so we'll mess again with this guy a little bit. There we go. Back to our print mode. That's starting to look pretty good. All we're missing is our logo now. So what you'll want to do, figure out where your logo is. And I've got it kind of here on my Finder. So we've got my fake logo here, right? Click and drag, let go once, click, click and drag, and about that size. Maybe a little bigger. So I'm going to not stretch it, I'm going to hold Command, Shift, click, drag. That's looking better. Put it down here. Let's see what else we're missing. All right, and then last but not least, this is just another, we'll just click on this, drag it down. I want to make this black. There we go. Questions or concerns? Hopefully you don't have any concerns. Please call this fake number. Blah. There you go. Looking good. Now, you probably want to left align it to this little guy, so double click again, Command A to select all. Left align, go back to the selection tool, right? Click, drag over, but I'm holding Shift, so it's a straight line. And there we go. Now I'm going to hit the down arrow a little bit. That way I can do minor adjustments. There we go. So that's all there is to it. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope that it was useful for you. Thanks.